The music putting you to sleep already? My logo is missing something. Nah, I don't think it's missing anything. But let me welcome everybody that's probably coming over from VF stream. You guys gonna have to let me know how the audio is. And we're gonna have the music playing as we go about. So I got some lo-fi music playing. I didn't want to go with the dead silence, pretty much. And you know, let's say hello, like for real. Say hello. Whoa, it is a little dark in here. Hold on. Alexa, increase bedroom lighting to 75%. So that's how we do. That's how we roll in this show for tonight. So welcome to. Let me tell you something. Episode 1. What it looks like I'm gonna be doing with this is that it's gonna be infrequent in nature. I know, right? Pretty fancy. Everything on digital command. I can tell. You know, I can tell what's her name to shut up if I want to. I'm not gonna say her by name because then she'll be like, huh? What'd you say? But anyway, so this format is gonna be infrequent in nature because normally on Wednesdays I'm playing games. I think this week I wanted to change things up a bit and I wanted to just, you know, sit down, especially what's been going on lately. I think it's time for you and I to have a talk here. So we're gonna hopefully you guys enjoy this format. So what you guys really probably came here for was the Sony PS5 showcase that went on today. You know, we're gonna talk about that. Hopefully you guys got some questions, got everything going for me. Just definitely be interactive. I see Izzy already secured his pre-order. I see you. All day, but you know what? And I went and checked the Walmart website. Let me turn down the volume on my end, and let me not also have a mic on the other end. But hold up. I didn't want it to totally go away. Hey, what's up, VF? I see you. But let's see. So Izzy says, I love discussing console stuff, but at the end of the day, or at the end, I'm a gamer through and through. That's true. That's pretty much all of us. You know, some people like to go out and fight these console wars and whatever it may be. But regardless of that, so what we're gonna go through, we have a good amount of topics. Definitely. Hey, what's up, Antonio? What's up? we definitely thought VF was going to bed. Nah, his bedtime ain't until 10 or something. We'll be finished long before he has to go anywhere. Damn, that's what happened. So that's what happened in your stream. You had trolls galore. Wow. VF, since you're here, I think you're a mod on my channel, right? I was trying to make King David Creates a mod, and I seem to forgot how to do that on here. So if you're able to make him a mod, or if you have the ability, then do so. Yeah, I noticed you followed like 5 minutes ago. The way I have my OBS set up is that it has everybody who's followed the channel ever since I opened it up. So like Pooh was first on July 23rd all the way to you about 6 minutes ago. So I know when everyone followed. I just don't know if somebody decides to unfollow. That's just their issue. So, but I definitely appreciate. Damn. I swear I can't get away from the trolls, but you know, when you're growing, like with our main podcast, First and Frame Rates, we've seen the trolls come out, and yeah, when we do our stuff individually, we're gonna start getting that too. So that's gonna be the case. But let's get back to the show at hand. So what I have in store is, let me see. I just seen that hopefully Bills makes it today. I shared the link on Twitter. I know he was inquiring about when this was going to start. So basically, running down the game, we're going to talk about the NBA. It's the Clippers. We're not going to talk about everything in the NFL. I'm a Redskins. Oh God, I slipped. Red Wolves. I said I was going to call them the Red Wolves until they officially come up with a name, but we're going to go over the Washington Red Wolves beating the Philadelphia Eagles. And then we're going to go into the Sony showcase in the middle. Make it the meat of the show right in the middle. You know, you got your bread with the Clippers and the Red Wolves, and then the bottom half you have Disney dropped the Mandalorian season 2 trailer. So that was interesting when it came out. Oh, you can't make him a mod? Okay, I guess I had to do it after the stream because I was trying to do it real quick and I was getting not flustered, but I just didn't want to hit something by accident. So I didn't want to accidentally ban the man who has kept our Discord alive. I don't want to do that. And I am going to end it with politics. I know nobody wants to hear about that, but this is probably the time I get to talk about politics. I kind of throw it in every now and then on the show, but think this is the appropriate venue to do it. So that being said, first of all, we got to hail to our sponsors. Yeah. So if you want some Rogue Energy, it's caffeinated drink. Gives you a ton of energy whenever you need it. Everything in moderation, of course. You don't want to overdo it. Go to rogueenergy.com and put in my code DJ81 if you want a discount. So, cheers. Alright, I wasn't going to try to chug the whole thing down. I know I've been doing it on First and Frame Rate. So, okay, so Antonio asks, so you won't be streaming games anymore, right? No. What's happening is that this is the first episode of, let me tell you something. It's not going to happen next week unless something else happens. I think this is if you think about it, I'm a part of First and Frame Rates. Some of these topics are going to overlap with the main show. And I don't want to be repetitive versus the topics that we put together on the show there. So I definitely want to have something of my own. That's why you're gonna hear a little bit about politics. You're gonna hear about the Mandalorian. These are stuff that I've been really wanting to talk to you guys about because I know some of you guys are interested in this stuff. But we mainly keep it sports and video gaming, and at First and Frame Rates. And just a quick plug: we do go live on First and Frame Rates 7:30. Well, sure. Screw that. Seems like 7:45, 8 o'clock p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Eastern Standard Time. So definitely check us out. VF is still in the chat. Bills, hopefully he joins shortly. I don't know when he's... I'm sure he probably doesn't see it. Let me just send him a message. See if he got the notification. Hopefully he's in there. Shit. I thought. You know what? I think the only person I modded was Pooh. Hold up, let me. I'm gonna have to. I'm trying to see how I can do that on here. Hold up, let me see. Cause I don't want, like I said, I don't want to do anything that. Let's see. Cause I don't know. You should be able to do it from here. What is it? Permit user. Oh. So that's what that does. So when I hit permit user, it allows a person to not get timed out for the next 60 seconds. So that is kind of funny. Oh boy. Alright, so I'll figure that out later. I'll get everybody modded who I think will... I'm still learning this thing, so let's get to the main event. So we had, and we're just gonna switch over here. There we go. So these two bums right here were up 3-1 in the Western Conference semifinals against the Denver Nuggets. 3-1. You know who else was up technically 3-1? Like a 28-3, like the Falcons. You know, my Caps have blown 3-1 leads before, many times to the Penguins. And they proceeded to lose Game 7 last night in the most horrific fashion, going cold in the fourth quarter. By the time they made their first shot, 9 minutes had elapsed in the fourth quarter. Nobody was hitting shots. These two especially were not hitting shots. I'm like, Kawhi has the appropriate number of shots he hit. Matter of fact, I don't think he hit any shots in the fourth quarter. And PG, the bricklayer himself, well, they both were bricklayers. They were both masons. They're both involved in masonry in that fourth quarter. But yeah, between these two, what was it? Overall, they shot like 10 for... I'm just throwing this stat out there. Somebody could probably look it up later. I don't care. But they shot horribly. It was like 10 for 50, it seemed like. Wow. But, you know, congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. You will be served up on a platter. Ah, that's right. Okay, so... And that was... And welcome to the show, by the way. And I think... You're modded. Hey Bills, it looks as if you're modded. If you're a mod on this channel, if I was able to make you a mod, can you make King David Creates a mod, or is that the fact that you chose an icon you're associated with Prime? Okay. Oh, good. He's here. Mod me and VF. Yes, that should. Hopefully, because I was. Like King David Create said earlier, I was slipping, but yeah, they were pretty much. Yeah, that you should be able to. If I didn't, like I said, I'll hold up. Let me see. Oh, that's a leaderboard. That's something else. But yeah, they were awful in the fourth quarter, and for all that trash they talked about Damian Lillard, about him missing key free throws at certain points. This was like the regular season portion of the bubble season. It doesn't have that option. Oh damn! I'm gonna have to hold up. I'll do it. I promise. I promise you guys. I will do it. I will get everybody modded, everybody squared away. I definitely want consistency between my channel, VF's channel, and also First and Frame Rates and the Discord to have the same. I guess the same 4 or 5 people modded. So yeah, I'll take the L for that one. So L's in the chat for your host. Just put them in there. Just throw them out there. I don't care. Just L. I'll take that. So, but yeah. So anybody have any thoughts about the Clippers collapsing? And Scott OG, I don't know if he'll show up tonight or not, but he follows the channel. And he put out an interesting tweet. And it goes a little something like this. If I were Steve, I guess the owner's name's Steve Ballmer. If I were him, I would move the Clippers out of LA and take them to Seattle. What are your thoughts? Because I know I would be down for them moving to Seattle. Get rid of, don't call them the Clippers anymore. Call them the Sonics, because I couldn't stand a team called the Seattle Clippers. They had to be the Sonics. So, okay, so Antonio's like, that would be a good move. Ask it again. I missed what you... Oh, what are your thoughts on Scott OG? He posted something along the lines on Twitter. What are your thoughts if the LA Clippers, like, this is a hypothetical situation. It's probably not going to happen. But if Steve Ballmer were to move the Clippers to Seattle, what would you think? More of this while I wait for everybody to respond. And again, I appreciate everyone who's here. Any team that goes to Seattle is gonna muddy the waters for team records. Yeah, that I didn't think about that. Because you're talking about the Clippers' history, the Sonics' history, and OKC's history. That would mean that OKC would have to send the jerseys that are already in their stands or in the rafters type. Oh, okay. Well, let's see if I can do that then. Does it have to be in quotation? Oh, yeah, it looks like it does have to be in quotation. So we're going to do that real quick. Oh, wow. Let's see if that should work. I'm sitting there trying to do this thing that David King is asking me to do, but let's see, control copy, control paste. Okay, King David, tell me if that has worked, because then I can do that with everyone else. Don't think it needs okay, so we're gonna try it again. It'll probably be my second L for the night, but I can adapt. There we go. I should now call you Vader. Now go and kill all the people in Mustafar, all the people I sent, whatever. So now we got people. Now we got like a bread line forming. You got now take it away. If you ever like my turn, like Man, the breadline. Okay, um, so since King David is, wait a second. So that means, Bills, you've been able to, because you got the same sword in front of your icon. It didn't give you the option, but now we have to Okay, so Nemesis Prime, just to interrupt real quick, he says, nah, Sonics would have to be an expansion team. I would like to see 2-team expansion. Then what would be the other team? Because that's interesting, because I know Virginia with like a basketball squad. Not really. Mods don't have the option, only broadcasters. Okay, so let me go back. All right, so VF is next, so let me do that, and then just sub King David creates. I'm just doing this real quick. Means less. Okay, and VF baller. See if it did it. There we go. Got it. Told you. Adapt on the fly. That's what they taught me in the military. That's how that works. Alright, so hopefully that bread line is shortened. So we got everybody. Hey Izzy, you're gonna have to let me know what discussion is such a waste. Okay, well at least y'all talking to each other in the chat. That's good. But yeah, go back to Nemesis because he brought up a 2-team expansion. So Nemesis, what would be the other team? I'm definitely interested. Like I said, Virginia, but then we have the Wizards, Baltimore, a team in no, Charlotte's already there. It would have to be an East team. I'm thinking maybe Cincy. Would you call them the Bearcats? But just back to the Clippers, as far as, you know, not necessarily with the expansion question, but where do they go from here? Because I know it was the first season with this team together, but it just seemed like there's so much discord amongst each individual person. Because you talking about Kawhi left the championship team for this, which is kind of crazy. You mean to tell me that he left? I'm like, from what I understand, that, you know, that's Kawhi. LA is Kawhi's like hometown, so he basically went back home. But I was one of those people when Kawhi was shopping himself around and saying that maybe he should just stay in Toronto, defend the championship, at least, you know, defend the championship. But either way, there will be a new champion crowned because Toronto was eliminated a while ago, and the last remnant of that squad got eliminated yesterday. So any more thoughts on the Clippers choking? I never thought they would choke on a nugget, but they did. You know what? A lot of those, okay, and let's see. Bills looks like I have plenty of it on it. Well, spit it out, brother. I mean, type it out. Of course, you can't spit it out. I don't have you in the audio chat. I'm gonna learn to set that up too with OBS because I figure I'd probably do it through Discord or whatever. But so I wonder what that Louisville squad. A lot of these squads you can pretty much do on 2K anyway. And by the way, message to 2K. We still on the players on PC is still have not received that update. What's going on? Need that update. Console players already have it. How come we don't have it? It's been, y'all gave the console players that update like 3 days ago. Technically 2 days ago. And we still don't have that. Anyway. Alright, so let me see. So Kawhi was never held to the standard of the best in the world. This is coming from Bills. but was called it due to LeBron fatigue. I could see that. And it's funny because LeBron being in the league for so long, Jordan never, like, I'm sorry to throw MJ into this, but Jordan didn't play long enough to experience a fatigue as far. Yeah, you have the, hold up. Oh, okay. He just now finding out. L for VF for not seeing the sword next to his name until, like, after he typed what he typed. Man, I told you, as soon as King David showed me the short command for it, the bread line formed, and I fed everybody. So everyone should be filled. You know, their bread was given. Oh, he had your phone. Oh, okay. Little KB. So, future South Carolina university player. But anyway, let's see. And, okay, Bill says Kawhi didn't deliver this year. The first time he had to lead a team with any expectations. That is true. That is true. And he did. He really, when it came down to it, he along with the rest of the team choked. So I definitely could see that. PG blamed chemistry, but they played together for 5 months as a unit. I think that's a piss poor excuse because I didn't hear LeBron talk about that the first year Miami went to the and they blew a lead too. When Miami and LeBron with Wade and Bosh went to the finals, and I guess they were up 2-0 and then proceeded to lose 3 straight to the Dallas Mavericks, and no, 4 straight to the Dallas Mavericks to lose their first trip as a team. But the thing was, first of all, they got to the championship first year. So we can blow that whole chemistry. If anything, you figure out the chemistry within the first month or two of the regular season. And you guys had more than was it 3 straight? Let's see, mind you, the Clippers gave up double-digit leads in 4 straight games. 3 straight games, I meant. Okay, yeah, and that's what I saw. The fact that they had a lead each time. It kind of reminds you of Oklahoma City when they lost to when they had the Warriors and they lost 3 straight, and that caused Kevin Durant to join the Empire at Golden State. So, but yeah, I don't buy that chemistry excuse because LeBron didn't use it, Dwayne Wade didn't use it, Chris Bosh sure as hell didn't use it when they lost in the NBA Finals on their first time together as a team. They just came back the next year and they just kept showing up at the championships. So yeah, not gonna buy that. But let's see, they didn't give a consistent defensive effort for 48 minutes. And there was talk that they couldn't even, their durability, their stamina was being questioned. They couldn't play for more than 3 minutes. Now, I understand the pacing of the game the way it is now. Like the way when I hardcore played basketball in the 90s, I could play for like 5, 6, 7 minutes a clip. These dudes talking about they can't play for 3 at a time, but they say it was in the 4th quarter. So at that point, you're getting tired, you're getting winded, so I can understand. But last thoughts on this Clippers, because I definitely want to move on, because there's a lot. I'm like, obviously, the Clippers as a team is getting roasted on Twitter, and the pretty much PG is getting roasted, and Kawhi is getting roasted. So they all right then, Izzy, I see you. Well, if they give us PC users the update, maybe I'll play it on the next stream. Last time I tried to play it on stream, I think I was doing too much because I had the music playing and I was shooting it. I think it may have not overloaded the stream, but excuse me, I was getting a lot of stuttering going on. So All right, VF, I see you. Thanks for stopping by. You know, always gotta spend time with the son. So his firstborn. So it's gonna hurt when he signs on the dotted line at University of South Carolina, though. So have a good night, VF. There's some dumb shit being said on this discussion. I'm sure there is, but here we're about to move on because this is where I hope that Pooh is lurking somewhere. I know you're lurking. You may not be active in the chat, but I know you're listening. I know you're lurking because Carson Wentz. So basically, what went down Sunday afternoon in Landover, Maryland, the Washington Red Wolves, but right now they're known as the Washington football team, the Washington Red Wolves, I'm calling them that, defeated the Philadelphia Eagles with all the L's 27-17. The way this game went, Eagles dominated early. It looked like it was going to be a typical Philly-Washington dismantling. Philly went up 17-0. Then all hell broke loose. Pretty much this picture is what broke loose. Actually, this was the last part of the game. This is all you need to know. Because this is what happened to Carson Wentz all game long. I could share some more pictures, but it was my first time using this slideshow feature for this stream. So I thought it was interesting that I figured I'd use this one because this was the final play before also all hell broke loose on for Eagles Twitter. So people like Real Mama Eagle and Spec Pooh had to calm the natives down because they have lost their shit. Not them two, but the rest of the Eagle Nation has lost their shit. It was also one of those things I called out because when we had our show, what was it, last week on Thursday on First and Frame Rates, I accurately called out that the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line was a question mark. And the biggest question mark, not necessarily for the people that had to fill in, because even during this game, there were players that had to leave due to injury. But if you notice in the picture, you see that dude back there behind Carson Wentz? He's their left tackle. He was their star left tackle. Remember, they released him. I think they didn't sign him back. They didn't do anything. Nemesis trying to say you should get that pick of the 3-0 line players just standing and watching Wentz getting sacked. Well, I wanted to get that one, but I think this one's better. Just for the simple fact that this is the last thing that Wentz had to deal with. This was the last moment because he fumbles on this. Because this was the play that he was. They reviewed it and viewed and ruled that since he was bringing the ball in, the tuck rule, that it was a fumble. The same rule that didn't apply to Tom Brady against the Oakland Raiders when he brought the ball in. And they didn't rule that a fumble. So, oh, damn. But I know, see, and it's funny because if my channel was offline, my channel would be hosting. Because when I started streaming, it switched off. My channel was actually hosting VF's. So I do like this hosting feature. So whenever you want to check out the channel and I'm not online or I'm not live, and if one of the 5 people that I have, and that includes Bills, that includes VF, Real Mama Eagle, Obi-Wan Watson, Spectacular Pooh. Any of those five, those are my starting five as of right now. If they're online, I pretty much could randomly host their stream. So that, again, a cool feature of Twitch. This is why I convinced VF not to give up on Twitch. There's a lot more here than there is at YouTube. I think YouTube, if you just want to upload content, that place is not the place to stream anymore. I was thinking about restarting my State of Decay 2 series. I'm actually waiting for another update from them because they got a dope update coming out there, but that's down the road. So another interesting part of this game, because the Eagles defense didn't really do too bad. Darius Slay did a wonderful. He did a good job in his debut as the Eagles star corner. I think he held McLaurin to 5-6 catches for 65 yards. Didn't allow a touchdown. He did allow that one play that went for 22 yards that was on a slant, and he missed the tackle. You know, if you want to say you shut down somebody but still managed to give up a 22-yard play in which you could have made it a 7 to 10-yard play, but because you can't tackle, then have at it. So we scored because we caused turnovers, we wreaked havoc. Our front four, we didn't even have to blitz our linebackers that much. So that was one thing. And you know, advice to Carson Wentz: stop ducking. I know that's how you used to escape, but these players on this Washington team are being coached a lot better than they were in the past. They're not whiffing at air when they go to tackle. They're gonna tackle you center mass. So if you duck, then you just pretty much just signed your own death warrant, because you're gonna wind up with another spinal injury as many times as you ducked and got pile driven into the ground thereafter. Was crazy. So, all right. So Nemesis Prime says, "Man, I need to get back into that State of Decay 2." Yeah, I can't wait. I'll say it now. There's an update that State of Decay 2 is coming out with eventually. It's update 21, and it's gonna give you a customizable difficulty. It's pretty interesting. I can't wait to hear more about it. If I would have found pictures, I probably would have flashed them up here, because it's interesting. I definitely can't wait for that to drop. So we're done with the top part of the bread. Let's move on, because obviously Washington won here. Philly lost. I've been having a good week, but we have to face Arizona next. And I know Big Zay Matt is a Cardinals fan, and we're playing in Arizona, and Kyler Murray is looking really good right about now. So if they can tackle that midget, then we're good. But then you have to deal with D-Hop and Larry Fitzgerald. That's going to be murder. All right, so moving on. So what really everybody came here to discuss. So Sony had their showcase for the PS5. I'm going to have to refer to my notes here, because while I was watching this conference, I wanted to write down my thoughts. I have it right here, right in front of me. So everyone pretty much, let's see, hold up. Bill says the crux of the shitty discussion of Twitter. Why is this thing still sending a plus? Oh, because, okay, that's why. I was wondering why it keeps doing that, because every time I move it, I'm not going to hit it again because it's going to advance the slide. But, so everyone by now knows that the price of the physical PS5, or just technically the PS5, if we're talking PS5, then we're not talking about the digital version. If we're talking about the digital version, we'll specifically say the digital edition. But the PlayStation 5 is now has been set to $499. So that's $500 basically. and the digital edition at $3.99. Now, I did point out earlier on Twitter that on episode 120, myself and VF, minus Bills, because he was off on his sabbatical around that time. This was February 18th of this year, and we did talk about Colin Moriarty and his prediction for the price of the PS5 wound up being correct. And we were on it. So there you go. But I swore up and down, I thought we did price predictions before that. Or we may have done it as soon as we knew there was going to be a digital edition, and we just routed off what's the range it's going to be. And as far as that part was concerned, I feel like, and I had to find that episode, I'm on record as saying that we would get $4.99, $3.99 out of these two. And that's exactly what happened. But let's go over the showcase. So, first game we saw. I'm not going to go over every game because I wasn't interested in every game. So the first game we saw was Final Fantasy 16. Now, I'm not a big Final Fantasy fan. The game looked nice, but it didn't look next gen. That's a reoccurring theme in this conference. It looks nice, but it's not next gen. So I thought it was pretty good, but again, it looked nice, not necessarily next gen. So next game, my notes are all over the place. If you take notes like this, sometimes when we have scattered thoughts, we take notes in scattered form and we have to form it later. And the fact that I'm doing it on stream is crazy. So the next game was a Spider-Man Miles Morales game. Again, looks good. I didn't see anything next gen about it. And apparently that's for a good reason. Because the game is also going to be on PS4. So, and that was a game made by Insomniac Games. And it's funny because while they were showing scenes of that game, it kind of gave me that infamous Second Son feel. I remember playing that game when the PS4 originally launched, and the colors, the special effects and all that. It just seemed like that was what they went for. I know there are two different studios that made those two games, but yeah, again, reoccurring theme. Looks nice, but not necessarily next gen. So what's the next game? They did something with Harry Potter. I didn't care. I wrote down whatever and just rolled past it. And then after that, they did Black Ops Cold War. This game really looked good, but not quite next gen. Not by a long shot. They literally, in the sequence that they showed, the gameplay that they showed, they literally pulled from Sniper Elite. When the dude tried to snipe and hit the wrong guy, I wonder if that's like that canned scene. No matter if you have the target trained on him or not, if you wind up hitting the wrong guy, just to proceed to process the next bit of action where you wind up using the RC control car to eventually take out the landing gear, the jumbo jet. It's kind of crazy. I'm like, the action was pretty good. I liked it. I think I can get back into Black Ops. I like a good story. Hopefully it does have a good story, because I am a person. I'm like, the thing with Black Ops, it's a thin line between reality as far as the story is concerned. So I definitely like that. All right, so let me see. So Nemesis says Spider-Man was the only PS5 I was interested in, but since it's on PS4, I would just get it when the PS4 price drops. And I think the original price for it right now is for when it comes out, is going to be $50. So it's already knocked off. Antonio says, were you surprised there was no 2K21 footage shown? No. Wasn't surprised. So, all right. So King David Creates says, I feel like it's diminishing returns. Games look so good now that the bar for next gen is so high they struggle to hit it. I have a theory about that. I feel like the bar is set so high because they want it. They secretly want a PC. They secretly want to have an open rig. And I'm not saying that because I just recently got a PC. I'm just saying that because you want those type of graphics on your console. But you don't want to get a PC. And I can understand that. You know, PC can get a little expensive when you start to order parts, or if you get a pre-built one, you don't want to spend a whole lot of money. And a lot of us are lazy. I bought a pre-built one. I'm lazy. Eventually I'll build one myself, but at least I got a pre-built one that gives me a base foundation. And also I've already upgraded certain parts. I upgraded the RAM on my pre-built, so that was my first hands-on of building a PC. So King David says you want those visuals without the high price tag. Exactly. And I think that's what everybody's looking for. And plus everybody's trying to keep up with the Joneses these days, especially with Nvidia dropping their graphics cards. And some people, there's been some mixed reactions about those, but I'm sure we'll talk about that at a different time. Let's see. Okay, y'all know what to do. Thank you, King. I knew you was gonna be on it. I ain't have to say much. I knew it. You're on it. Yes. Hail to the king. So, but yeah, I see myself getting Black Ops, especially since the multiplayer alpha is gonna be available in a couple of days. So September 18th through the 20th, basically this weekend, the multiplayer will be available. So publicly available. So we get to play a little multiplayer action. Hopefully I see some of you there, because I'm going to jump on it. But again, reoccurring theme. It looks good, but not quite next gen. So, and this is where it gets real funny. So I guess, I don't know if I skipped a couple of games. I'm just rattling off stuff that I took note on. So RE8, you already know my disdain for this game. My notes read, fuck off already. Yeah. So I really don't care much for this game, because I don't care for the story. They veered off the main real story in Resident Evil 7, and I haven't cared. I haven't looked back since. So I really don't care about that at all. Not one bit. Alright, so Nemesis Prime says, yes, I want a PC, but this is back to the PC, the graphics talk here. Yes, I want a PC, but I don't want to spend money on it. I can get a console and be good for years. We are at a point now the graphical jump isn't big between gens. And that is correct. People want what they want, but the higher they go, the smaller the gap becomes. It's just like, and I don't know if there are any females watching, particularly African American females. The higher you guys have been climbing in the corporate ladder, for those that have taken on corporate jobs, you see less of us brothers up in that area. Yeah, it's like that. The higher you go, the less you see. The less of it won't be the less of a difference you see in that instance. You just won't see any of us, because they won't allow it. For some reason, no matter how qualified or how whatever we are, there's very few of us that are up there in the corporate ladder. I refuse to go the corporate way, so you will never see me in that. If I did, man, but this is United States of America, so they don't allow us to climb as high as most people have. But anyway, that's a different story. So yeah, I don't like the Resident Evil story right now. They've done something with Chris. They've totally flipped. I guess they said with Resident Evil 7 they reimagined it, and I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I haven't purchased the game. I haven't played it. I actually take action when I don't like something. I don't just create a hashtag. Oh, hi. I don't just create a hashtag and cry about it and go back and play it and not mention anything about that hashtag, several days later or whatnot, because you got your bump or whatever. So the next game I noted was Deathloop. I didn't care about it when they first showcased it. I definitely don't care about it now. So moving on. I may be going out of order here. They brought out Oddworld, and again, it was another game that I didn't. It was another game that I didn't care about. So I didn't really care about that. So let's see. Nemesis Prime says, like, the jump from PS1 to PS2 was mind-blowing, but then PS2 and PS3 was a decent jump, but not mind-blowing. And King David responds with, it's diminishing returns. That's true. That's pretty much. You talking about... See, and this is where I think the shift in focus should be more on performance and not so much graphical fidelity. This is why that you have the SSDs, you have the higher chipset, you have the higher even performance in a graphics card. You would think the shift is there. You want 60 plus frames per second in your gaming because it's possible. It's been there for decades now. I'm like, fuck that. It's been there since Dreamcast. VF played NFL 2K, what was it, NFL 2K2 or something like that? You see 60 frames on that? Yes, you did. Because we were and here, this is how crazy this whole graphical fidelity talk and pushing the goalposts or whatever as far as what is the standard. We've had 60 frames per second in most games ever since the 90s. Dreamcast, you could have maintained 60 frames per second on the 56K modem. But most of y'all weren't born when that was a thing. These games, you literally no drop. Like, we had little dropouts. I think the only dropout on 56K modem was the fact that somebody, if you shared the line throughout the house and somebody called, that's the only time you was being dropped off the internet. I don't know what the excuse is now. And people dropped off the internet if the sun goes behind the clouds or whatever. That's kind of crazy. So let's see. So King Davis, he also says, yep, we should shift to performance, but most people want more pixels and eye candy. There's a limit to what we can see as human beings anyway. We're not cats, dogs, lions, wolves. We can't see but so much, and they can see so much better than we can. They can detect. They can see signals, So until we can start seeing those things, I think we need to chill on the graphic fidelity. I think we need to focus more on performance. Get those frames per second count, because when I see these comparison videos of 30, 60, 90, 120, yeah. And for your gaming, experience, you definitely want to get something that's closer to 120 frames per second. I haven't played at 120 frames per second, but I can't get that out of my head that I can see better when the frames per second is higher. I literally can track targets without losing sight of them, even though they're in front of my face. 30 frames per second, that will happen. 60 frames per second happens less. But you start going up a little higher, it's just like real life. So that's where we should be, focusing on. But all right, so continuing on, Devil May Cry, in which this is another Capcom game. Again, my disdain for Capcom. Capcom. I can't even say their name. They got me so pissed off over Resident Evil. So my note to them was, again, fuck off. And that was that. So at this point, I was getting a little impatient. I literally wrote, what's the goddamn price point, Sony? And then they talked about an added benefit to the PS collection, which was select games that are already playing on. You could get, as part of your, it's an added benefit to the PSN Plus membership. You'll be able to play these select games on your PS5. You just download them and you play. I'm gonna see how that works. See if they try to sneak in some extra charges. Anyway. And then I think that's when the price got dropped. Because I figured once you start talking about your services, now you're getting to the point. And they had the dramatic music that played that kind of like built the drama, and then boom, price points finally. And you know what's funny? It literally was a week after Microsoft dropped their price point. So it kind of goes into my theory I said on First and Frame Rates, that these companies are playing both sides. They're playing you guys for fools that you guys are. This price point was going to be a week later coming from Sony, because they probably were talking together like, hey, you drop your price point this week, we'll give you the spotlight for a week, and we drop ours. That's how we keep this competition going. It's just like the entire plot to the Clone Wars. I'm like, you got Palpatine playing both sides, secretly making moves, pitting Jedi against the Sith. Well, actually, technically that's what the whole thing was, but technically putting the Republic against the Separatists, and all the while taking over and then eventually killing everybody and becoming the Empire. So that was pretty much, that's the elephant in the room got dropped. God of War, the sequel to the last God of War, the one I beat, that a lot of people beat. But I have some questions about this latest edition of God of War, and it's slated to come out 2021, which some people are already saying that it may get delayed. Who knows? But they're saying that no, the question I had was that in God of War, the last God of War, or God of War 4? Yeah, in God of War 4, there were parts that you couldn't access in that game. So when are we gonna be able to? Was there DLC supposed to be, or is this DLC for that? I have questions. And Sony Studios, Santa Monica Studios, I guess that's the company that's doing it. I got questions. Hopefully you guys reveal more later. Alright, so King David Create says, maybe the PS collection is intended to be a Game Pass alternative. I wouldn't think so. I would think it would be an alternative to their free monthly thing that they do. If you can give people a slew of games that's readily available constantly, they won't be thinking about what you could be still giving away for free per month. Bait and switch. Shoot, if I had the opportunity to do it and these suckers weren't paying attention, I would do it in a heartbeat. So, and that was pretty much the gist of Sony showcase. So we got a price point. The digital edition is $3.99. The physical, the main one, is $4.99. So it kind of, so now you have all the price points, all your options. There's plenty of options for everybody. So for me, I'm getting the PS5 digital edition. I'm getting it on launch day. I will keep my PS4 for good reason. I'm like, it has a Blu-ray drive in it, and I don't want to spend the extra $100 for something that I already have. So again, a win for me, because I get to still pay only $400 for a next-gen console, like I did with the Sony PS4. But then they had the Pro, and that was also $399. So I've always been paying $400 for these consoles. So I've never. Anyway. All right. So let's see where we are at. All right. So a little treat. So this got dropped on us. No, this is not the. This is the season 2 trailer actually was dropped upon us. Those that have Disney Plus have seen the first season of Mandalorian. Pretty good show. I definitely recommend it if you have Disney Plus. I have it for the next year, so whatever's coming out, I'm gonna be good to just freely view it. And it's some interesting stuff that's going to happen this season. I don't have the insider's edge on this, but I know somebody from the WWE is going to be in this one in season 2. She made her appearance very clear. Sasha Banks, the boss, will be in The Mandalorian season 2. So the question is, what character is she playing? When I first saw her, my initial reaction to the trailer when it came out, I was watching and she popped up. My first question was like, is that Ahsoka? But then obviously there's the face paint, the way her face is in Rebels and the Clone Wars. That clearly was not. But the thing is, Sasha Banks, just by face, looks exactly like Rosario Dawson, especially in that cape, that hood and the cape look exactly the same. So I was just like, did she just paint herself over or whatever, just one color? But then I did some digging, did some reading, and it looks like she could be playing another character by the name of Sabine Wren. Now, those that are not familiar with Sabine Wren, she's a character that played on Disney's Rebels, the animated series, the second-rate animated series that Star Wars kicked out and they kicked out that series. They kicked off that series at the expense of Clone Wars. So when they came back with Clone Wars just, again, season 7 of Clone Wars just blows everything out the water Star Wars wise. So Clone Wars overall blows everything out the Star Wars universe. There's nothing better than the Clone Wars story, season, and the series. So definitely urge you guys to check that out. But she plays a character that is a Mandalorian herself. She's actually a true Mandalorian because, spoiler alert, those that seen the first season of The Mandalorian, he's not from Mandalore. Or he's not a Mandalorian. Let's just say that. Those that have seen it have seen the sequence where that took place, where he was I'm just leave it at that. But yeah. So Sabine Wren is one of the last remnants of the Mandalorians, because at the end of season 7 for Clone Wars, we did see the initial siege of Mandalore, but we didn't see the aftermath where the Empire took over, probably slaughtered the rest of the Mandalorian warriors. And the thing about the dark saber that the leader of Mandalore would hold, which it currently, according to this first season of the end of first season of the Mandalorian, which the Empire through one character currently holds. I forgot the character's name, but he's played by a guy that was in Breaking Bad. So, but this character, Sabine Wren, definitely, if I think about Sasha Banks' character in WWE and how she portrays herself, I think it's a good match. So hopefully that will be answered soon, whether Sasha's playing the character that Sasha is playing. Yeah, I know it. King David says, I know exactly Jack all about Star Wars. Well, this is why I decided to discuss it on here, because, like I said, on the First and Frame Rate show, I keep it sports and gaming with everyone else. But I've always wanted to discuss more, like broaden out a little bit, discuss more variety of topics. Yeah. So, what was I saying? So with Sasha Banks, I think if she's playing Sabine Wren, that could only mean one thing, and this has been long rumored. Ahsoka Tano, who was a major character in the Clone Wars and also became a additional key role in Rebels, looks like she may appear. Like they've been talking about this on the internet sites, YouTube channels that I've followed. They've been talking about this for quite some time, and as of right now, I think Rosario Dawson is supposed to portray a live action Ahsoka Tano. And again, I think this is another good match, but we didn't see Ahsoka in the trailer, and everyone else appeared. Mando, the character you see on the picture there, Baby Yoda was there. He had a funny scene in the trailer. Carl Weathers reprises his role. I forgot the lady's name. I know she was embroiled in some controversy where she had the left mad at her when she technically, like from what I've seen from her post, she's kind of like in the middle. She's like a moderate as far as, I guess, politically speaking, but she mostly leans to the left. But the left got mad at her because I forgot what it was, but she roasted the fuck out of every one of them, which was kind of funny and hilarious at the same time. So, but yeah, the season 2 premieres October 30th, so just before Halloween. I'm telling you, October is gonna be a good month, because October you're gonna start off with the Mandalorian season 2, and rolling to that, and then these next gen console drops. So, all right, so let's be honest, who isn't the left mad at these days? The way, you know what, I'll reserve for another episode, but after watching The Social Dilemma, and I kind of always knew this because I actually wrote about this myself for my capstone course project in getting my communication studies degree. So if you have Netflix and get a chance to watch The Social Dilemma, I definitely recommend it. Yeah. There are so many echo chambers that are being created. Let's just say that. So many echo chambers. But anyway, speaking of echo chambers, we are going to end it on politics, because I see the viewer count's getting kind of low. Everybody's kind of thinning out, and I kind of anticipated that we were going to get low here towards the end, and so far tonight it's gone as expected. So I have foreseen it all. Boom. The tail of the tape. As of right now, Trump versus Biden. I'm not gonna read this whole list. I just thought it was a funny picture to put up, but we should be coming up on the debates between these two. It's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be an interesting debate because I just hope a fight. I hope these dudes just break into a fight, like a fist fight on TV. I need somebody to actually physically fight Donald Trump. I need that fight. I need somebody to like punch this dude in the face, or punch Biden in the face, or somebody needs to throw hands. Cause we literally, what would set off political division further than just arguing on Twitter? Throw hands. And these two would symbolize the tipping points, the rotting tipping points of our political spectrum. You got one guy who suffers from many strokes. You have the other guy who is on the first stage of Alzheimer's disease. He really is. So you really are looking at two candidates that are going to that chances are they're going to kill over within. If Trump were to win, he would probably kill over in, I would say, if he has to deal with this for, let's see, 3 or 4 more months into his second term, he'll probably kill over. He'll probably have that big stroke and boom, he's gone. Now Pence is president. And if you thought Trump was bad, I say Pence is worse. Like, he just sits there, his pasty ass just, he's just waiting there. It's almost like when Bush was president, it was actually Rumsfeld that was running the... no, not Rumsfeld. My fault. Not him. It was actually his vice president, Cheney, that was running things. If you've seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. And then... Oh yeah, he definitely is. Yeah, Pence is definitely a mess. Matter of fact, let me read what you said earlier. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like it's going to be a total shit show. I thought it was a shit show in 2016, and it seemed like we're doing this again, and it's unfortunate. I'm like, we had Tulsi Gabbard sitting right there, but no, her own party wanted to just shit on her like people are doing Odell Beckham right now. And that's what I'm seeing. I thought there was some hope to learn something, but I haven't heard Sanders even really, like, Sanders didn't have that energy this year. I could tell, and I knew he shouldn't have been involved. And then that whole thing with Elizabeth Warren, these people actually were thinking Warren is for them. Warren is out for her, has been out for herself, has been an opportunist for quite some time. Y'all didn't see that after the first time she turned on Sanders? She's turned on Sanders so many times, I could have sworn she was a goddamn turnstile. Like, every time, turn on Sanders. Every moment, turn on Sanders. Every moment, oh, shitting on Sanders at this point. Oh, he shouldn't have said this about women. He was the one that put you on. He wanted you to run. He chose you, but you said no. And then you stabbed him in the back. You waited till he turned his back on you, and then you stabbed him in the back. And he did it twice. And he still hugged you. But Sanders definitely didn't have that energy. Oh God, let's not even talk about Kamala Harris. Kamala, however you want to pronounce her name. I had to go back and see how they pronounced her name 10 years ago, because I swore up and down it was Kamala Harris. before. So I went back 10 years to a video where they called her Kamala. So I was like, all right, well, I thought on the news she wasn't correcting people when they were mispronouncing her name for the last 5-6 years. It's only when she wanted to run for president all of a sudden, no, my name is Kamala. So, but she still hasn't answered Tulsi's question about her record. And there's a big elephant in the room of her. And it involves her parents. I know she was raised by her mother, but she doesn't talk about her father too much. I'm a little concerned about that. She's gonna have to answer. I'm like, you want the support of African Americans, but you don't really talk about the one person who is African American that created you, the half that created you. You don't talk about. I don't know what happened, but that explains a whole lot when especially you confronted by Tulsi right there about your record. You didn't really do anything at that point. You just ran to CNN after the debate. This was live when you ran. You literally like ran from Tulsi and you went to CNN to talk about it behind her back. You couldn't say this to her face about your record, but you had to go to CNN where they allowed you to be a little, I'm not even gonna go there. Anyway, yeah. And then after that, her campaign was done. I'm like, the Democrats have out there 2 people whose campaigns were thought to be finished. Like, Biden wasn't even supposed to make it. And then all of a sudden, Clyburn is like, I vouch for him. And then all of a sudden, all the older African Americans, all of a sudden, yeah, I trust Clyburn. I'm like, I like and I trust Clyburn, but I also trust what I see. I can't just blindly follow somebody who's clearly falling apart in front of our eyes. Trump is falling apart too, so Oh wow. See, King David is like Tulsi ran her into the ground, buried her harder than Triple H and Young Talent. Pretty much. Had to shovel out and everything. But yeah. So this needs to end in a fist fight. This needs to end in a fist fight. I feel like we spend too much, like all the arguments that people have on Twitter. And shout out to Hard 8 Times. He knows what I'm talking about. You get so worked up with people on Twitter, you just want to be like, look, meet me at such and such, and we're gonna throw hands. I know Bills, if he's still listening, I know he understands this. People are so, nothing gets settled. Like, Twitter beefs don't get settled properly. I'm 40 years old. I was born in 1980. I'm from the time where people literally fought each other in the streets. They threw hands and they became friends afterwards. Shoot, I remember the first 2 days of elementary school. New kid on the block. Don't know what the hell is going on. I got jumped by 5 kids the first 2 days. And guess what? Every single one of them, because of the way I fought, even though I lost, it was 5 against 1. What am I to do? But the fact that I held my own 5 against 1, it wasn't like I got jumped into a gang or anything. Nah, we ain't doing that. But we all got to know each other. We became friends, played sports. Been friendly ever since. We were the neighborhood kids. That's the way it used to work. You throw hands and break bread afterwards. That was the only way you really knew somebody, is like if you fought somebody. Alright, so King David says, shit, I deleted my Twitter months ago because of that stupidity, and now for some fucking reason I'm back on. Yeah, that will happen. I actually took a sabbatical off of Facebook, and And now I'm back on it. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, I'm like, whoever wins, it's not gonna be good for us, because basically you're either keeping in a guy that's gonna kill us all, or we're gonna vote in a guy that's gonna forget us all. And then if Biden wins and let's say he kills over, then now you got Kamala Harris, and she is like a deer in headlights when confronted. We all seen it. So, all right. So Antonio says, I remember I got put in a headlock for no reason on a school bus. So what happened? Did you fight out of it? Did they give you a noogie? Because I remember back in the day, people used to put people in headlocks and they give them a noogie and then they let them go. But if you got put in a headlock, they didn't let go. Did you punch them in the ribs? Did you, like, if you were strong enough, pick them up, slam them? I remember one kid, strange enough, we were out playing football and he gets mad because I guess I'm hogging the ball or whatever. We're playing football and I'm doing most of the work. So he gets mad. He throws the football at me. He's like, whatever. So he charges at me. I'm like, what this bitch charging at me for? He literally was charging at me. He lowered his head like he was going to headbutt me. Ran me with his with the top of his head. Pause. But he literally, I caught him, put him in the headlock, but then thought about it because he was heavier than me. I was like, I'm gonna use this momentum against him. So I grabbed him, tucked him between my legs, picked him up and power drived him. Boom! Dropped him on his head. End of the fight. That fight lasted about 5 seconds because of quick thinking. I'm like, this dude charging full speed, and I turned it into a pile driver. I could have done it as DDT. It would have been more of an effect. It would have been like Jake the Snake Roberts all of a sudden. And you know, the funny thing about it is that his older brother was there, and his brother looked at his younger brother, was like, see, that's what you get for messing with people. Don't start something you can't finish. So, all right, so Antonio was like, no, I just got let go. Oh, okay. Well, at least they let go. And then King David was like, shit, I fought my closest friends more than the dickheads I didn't actually like. Yeah, that's how it worked. So, but yeah, this is not going to end well for the country. I'm like, whoever wins, it's not going to end well. I'm one of those people that's like, I'm critical of my own party. I'm a registered Democrat. I will admit I have been guilty of voting blue no matter who, but I think there's an imbalance. There's always been there's been a greater imbalance in recent years in our government and our society, and even, you know, personally within ourselves, that has created this situation. Trump is just the result of what has been festering for quite some time. So we need to balance this stuff out, because when we were going through school, we learned that Congress was supposed to work together, sort their differences, compromise, and move forward. They just take vacations because all of a sudden each side has a hissy fit because they can't get what they want. And now we have a society that's like, well, if I can't get what I want, block. I'm cutting you off. I'm unfriending you. I'm unfollowing you. I don't need to hear this shit. Newsflash, you need to hear this shit. You need to hear all of it. You need, not just the narrow-minded side of what echo chamber you coming out of. You need to hear the whole thing. You need to step outside, extend yourself. The one thing that I will say that I think Trump supporters and Trump shares is a bit a lack of empathy. And I think a lot of us have that. It's not even just Trump. I'm like, I could tell Biden has it. And it creates a sense that maybe I want to vote for him, but my better judgment is like, no, because he's not. He definitely is not for Medicare for all. He definitely. There is this. For me, I wanted somebody younger, and we had them. We had them there. So we had youth in our primary, and nobody got behind the youth, and that's a damn shame. But that's my party. My party gets behind old people, but they don't get behind the young folks. That's why a lot of y'all that's why a lot of you old folks get left in the old folks home in the first place. Because you keep holding us back. And that seems like what's happening here. I'm like, everybody wants to stay in power. Nobody wants to just willingly let it go. I'm like, you're supposed to move on by the time you're 60 anyway. I'm like, why not? Like, would you keep, if you had food in your refrigerator, would you keep it past its expiration date? No. Why? You need term limits in Congress. You need term limits in the Supreme Court. There needs to be new blood. Old blood out, new blood in. That's the way it's supposed to go. That's how you maintain the balance. No matter if you're Democrat, Republican, I'm just trying to get my direction right, because I know you guys are seeing one side, I'm seeing the other, and we're not getting it. But my diatribe is over. I'm going to end it there. So let me see what King David just said. I was a Democrat until 2016, and afterwards, because they have their heads up their ass, now I prefer the independent road. That's what it has to be these days. My father's a registered independent. He was a Democrat. He favors the Democrats, just like Bernie Sanders favors the Democrats, but the Democrats keep shitting on him. So that's the crazy part. And then he also said, just give me a good candidate and I'll support them regardless of party. Exactly. That's where I'm at. You know, I've had friends that literally shunned me the moment I said that I was thinking that I wasn't going to vote. They were like, oh, that's just a vote for Trump. I'm like, that's not how this shit works. Just because I don't vote doesn't mean I voted for Trump. That's not how it works. Same people that voted third party, they did that to them too. I voted third party in 2016. I didn't get Trump elected. You did. Hillary Clinton basically got Trump elected. Yes, I said it. Hillary did that shit. That's her friend. But no one wants to admit that they are like this. They're one and the same. Just one does it in the dark, one does it right in front of you. So, okay, that's it for now. Let's see what time. Almost 9:30. So, okay, I'm gonna read these last few. So, Antonio's like, I'm independent. Best way to be. King David's like, I love Tulsi. And again, they screwed her over. Yeah, and that's probably why she's leaving. I'm like, that's why. Not leaving the party, but she's leaving the house. She was just like, I'm tired of this shit. You know, I serve my currently serves the country, and they shitted on her. I'm like, and here's the thing. If I was Trump's PR guy, I would have jumped on that and be like, oh, they want to talk about, I apparently said something about the troops. What about what the Democrats did to one of their own who is in the army, currently serving? They did that in front of everybody live on TV, called her a traitor. I'm mad that, I'm mad that no one really is using that against the Dems. That would make them come to their senses. It's just like, look, you can blame Trump all you want about or speculate about what he said about the troops, but you literally called Tulsi Gabbard a traitor on live TV, accused her of betraying her country as a currently serving officer in the army. As a veteran, I was highly offended that most of the Democrats and supporters went along with that. It lets you know what you think about the troops. That was on TV. So you have to ask the question. Are you going to go by what you think you heard or what you actually saw happen in front of your face? This is the balance we work with, because we have Trump who does things in front of your face, lies to you, whatever. You have Democrats that kind of do it in the dark, but then they pick one person and they do that to her or him. They did it to Bernie, they did it to Tulsi, they would do it to you. Screw all of them. And I mean all of them, not just Democrats, Republicans. Screw all those that are not for us, period. And that could be used in symbolic nature of us. So, okay, so King David was like, I love Tulsi, and again, they screwed over too. I think I already read that. And Antonio was like, is there a third party this year? King David responds, there's always a third party. And Antonio was like, oh, okay, thanks. I'm like reading the whole, and it said, King David says, if Trump is a smart man, he'll run the Tulsi Kamala clip on repeat. I would too. I will also run the clip of her father talking about Kamala. Like, no, that's not how you're going to dismiss the Jamaican side of the family. With a blunt? Oh, okay. Whatever. Okay, so let me wrap it up, because we've ran the politics portion. Obviously, we have a couple of people passionate about politics, and I definitely wanted to use this platform and this type of format to get that part off, because a lot of times I hold on the first and framework, I hold back. Like, it comes out every now and then, but I hold back. So I do think, and we're gonna start rolling out here in a sec, because I definitely want to get to these games. I want to start my NHL 20 season. I know 21's around the corner, and that will be a forward gen game, because you'll be able to play it on current gen and next gen. But regardless, so let me just go over who showed up today, and there was a lot of people at first, and looks like we had one more. Well, we had up to, I think it was about 8 to 9 people in here, and got some people modded live, so that was pretty awesome for everyone to show up. So go down the list. King David Creates, Izzy showed up, and he actually followed as of 2 hours ago, so shout out to Izzy. Thank you for the follow. King David, you followed yesterday, so thank you for that. And oh, I wish this guy was here. Goes by Pootie. He followed me just 5 days ago, so the list goes on. So Izzy, Nemesis Prime, thank you for coming through. VF was here. Antonio, Nemesis. Thank you guys for coming through. I'm trying to figure out. Bills was here. I don't think he's listening anymore, because I think the main portion he wanted to talk about was the Clippers. The Clippers choking, because there's a lot of levels today. I'm sure we'll definitely talk about that more on First and Frames. Again, we go live tomorrow evening, 7:45, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so definitely be there. If you haven't followed the channel, here, EVO325 over here on Twitch. A lot of you know me as DJ81. I'm on Twitter. I'm also on YouTube. It's under my real name, Derek Jordan, and you've seen my real name, and you kind of seen. And we're gonna actually flop back, because that actually was the last slide. So you guys kind of see what I'm really working with here. So again, thank you to everybody who stopped by. And let me see. Yeah, they definitely talked at the GameStop, because I know that and like I said, I expected it, because I know the crowd. Most of the crowd is here for the sports and the video games. That's the crowd I came out of. I'm sure you guys come out, pretty much are in that same crowd, but at the same time, there are other interests that go fed, and I want to be able to fulfill at least that portion. I know on my blog, which you can follow at dj81.org, I haven't even done a political blog yet, but I've done a couple of gaming and one sports. I've done 5 blogs on there. I haven't really, gotten into it as much as I want to. I think, well, at this point, with upgrading my mic and like I said, I'm glad I sound really good according to you guys. I try to do more of this, be more like independent as far as, you're not just seeing me on First and Frame Rates, you're also seeing me on my own channel. Again, on YouTube, I'm gonna get that back going again when State of Decay 2 releases their update, and then we'll just go from there. I'm like, I appreciate the fact, I know you didn't care for the Mandalorian talk. I know that the way I look at it, it's gonna be hit or miss with a lot of topics, because I am a variety type of person. I don't. You kind of can see it when we're talking about sports. You mostly hear VF and you mostly hear Bills, but you kind of hear from me only when you specifically hear about the Red Wolves, the Washington team, and any of the local franchises, and every now and then. But I always play like the third person, because really you guys are really there for them too. I'm there to support them. And I openly say that because I didn't come on until I think episode 29 or 30. So they really got the ball rolling on First and Frame Rates, and I give them all the credit in the world. So let's see. All right, so it says it's good to have variety though. Dip into everything. Exactly. And when I do this next episode of let me tell you something, because that's actually the title of this podcast, is Let Me Tell You Something. So I think it's something that I'll get used to letting it roll off the tongue. But I like the slide show that I was able to put together. So with that, I'm gonna have to say goodnight. Definitely getting into these games and letting you guys go. Thank you guys for listening, lending me your ears, and hope you guys have a good night. Be safe. Don't get in any trouble. Don't do any drugs. Technically, alcohol is a drug, so you may drink. Who knew? All right, Antonio. Peace out. King David, thank you. Thank you for letting me know how to mod people with that shortcut. I'm probably definitely... I know there was another way to do it, but it was nice to know about the shortcut. It's still a lot I need to learn about Twitch. So I will holler at you cats later. Peace.